pleased to invite Pieter Elbers, our next guest. Pieter, please give him a warm round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Let me take a step back, and you phrased it very eloquently. What IndiGo has been doing over the past 16 years is incredible and, to my view, pretty much unprecedented around the world, to grow from nothing to 300 aircraft in basically 16 years' time. This year we expect to welcome on board some 80 million customers. So that says everything about the speed of developing the airline. I think what has been a very fundamental and key to the success of IndiGo is the very consistent delivery of our customer promise. The customer promise has been built on 3 pillars: on-time performance, affordable fares, and a courteous and hassle-free service. And that very consistent delivery of that customer promise has really enabled IndiGo to grow from nothing to where IndiGo stands today. 100% by design, 0 by absence of competitors.
Absolutely.
What question is that? Look, take a step back. Look what's happening here. Look listen to the presentation of the Honorable Minister this morning. India is at the start of becoming an aviation powerhouse. And I'm very proud and glad, actually, IndiGo has been able to be part of that story. And a lot of the growth we have seen and listened this morning, moving from 70 million customers to 140 million people in the air on a daily basis today, 4.5 lakh customers daily on the domestic flights. Part of that has been achieved by the growth of IndiGo and making sure that all these millions and millions of Indian customers, not only in the metros, but very much so also in the tier 2 and tier 3 cities, have been able to have the access to air travel. I think that's been, and then executed in a very thorough way, that's been the source of that success. Strategy without execution is a hallucination. And I think what IndiGo has been done is making sure that the execution is being done every day. And today we do operate 1,800 flights a day, 7th largest airline in the world in terms of daily departures. So I was just hearing some of the presentation when it was about where should India be in the world. If today India is the 5th largest economy in the world, which was 11th largest, I learned this morning, just a couple of years back, on its way to become the 3rd largest economy in the world by 2030, to have 1,800 departures per day by IndiGo, of which 90% of all these departures are domestic, welcoming 2.8 lakh customers a day, I think that speaks to that growth potential. When it comes to company culture, and again, knowing quite a few of the audience had experience with IndiGo, direct or indirect, I think we do have a very strong internal company culture, and I recognize it even from my previous assignment. Enormous commitment, enormous focus on our customers, enormous dedication to the mission to be done every day. Again, 1,800 flights per day, 2.8 lakh customers per day, who all need to be traveled first and foremost in a safe manner, and thereafter in a courteous and hassle-free service. So that culture is very strongly there. And I think slowly we start to expand that by having more people coming in. And then you come back to the values, which needs to be sharpened every now and then, which we're doing actually right as we speak now. With the sort of after COVID growth we're going to, I think this is also a good opportunity to reaffirm what we're doing, and that's in fact the stage we're doing now. First, we needed to get the operation back. We've done that. Now we need to have the operation starting to grow. We'll be doing that and supplement that with the strong culture and values, which there are, but maybe at some places we need to polish them a little bit. I mentioned earlier the sort of customer promises we have, and one of them is affordable fares. That affordable fares can only be continued and only be held up if we have a low cost base. And clearly, as IndiGo has been profitable prior to COVID and now returning to that, maintaining a cost leadership is of crucial importance for us. I think we are today in a good spot. We always would like to look for what's the next round of opportunities, what's the improvement. I think some of the government policies, and the minister this morning was mentioning the VAT reductions. I think we see some of these changes coming into play, which is not per se an airline cost base for the airline itself, but for the overall ecosystem, it will help a lot. So I think if you mentioned earlier, what are the elements. I think the closer collaboration in the ecosystem will help us to reduce that cost base. So we look at our own cost base, replacing the CEOs by the NEOs, the few which we still have, looking at fleet utilization, looking at our internal processes, looking at digitization. But I would say that is almost, that's our core of running an airline. Where there's new opportunities, I would say, is in that overall ecosystem, where the next step have and probably can and have to be made. And VAT reductions is one of them, but I would also call air traffic control, operational procedures, all the elements linked to that.